I wanna go.
Gotcha, bitch!
Stupid Cody making me take care of stupid intruders. Man, I hate this stupid job. This was a really, really stupid idea, Trump. Could have been president, but no, I had to do this instead.
Trump, what are you yapping about again? What do you need?
Hey, Cody, you know that stupid moron that keeps coming in just to sing? Well, yeah, I had to deal with him again.
Yeah, well, I don't know what we're going to do about him. Oh, shoot, we're live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Anything But Silent Cinema podcast. I'm your host, Cody. Sorry about those slight technical errors earlier. But now that we've got this show back on the road, today we're going to be talking about expectations and how this began to shift what the consumers were expecting out of things like entertainment, and how that kind of shifted the culture around what consumers wanted out of their entertainment forms. And now, kind of like what we mentioned yesterday, movies when they initially emerged, obviously the average consumer had no idea what to expect. However, after a few years and after World War, many economies around the globe, especially in the US, were absolutely thriving and booming, experiencing a great period of economic status. Now, when movies began to become a popular staple in society as a form of entertainment, movies began to follow a kind of status quo, if you will. And that's kind of due to the fact that movies had to compete with cinema when they first emerged. Theater was something that can be expected. You can only put on so many runs of Shakespeare's Macbeth before the public really begins to know the story by heart, gets kind of tired of it. Even with new plays coming out left and right and constantly, because that's really what all there was before cinema. Only live forms of entertainment you could really go see. Eventually, it kind of became the same old thing. You pay to sit there for an hour or so, depending on how many acts there are. Have to be there constantly and watch the story unfold live in front of you. Kind of have to deal with the cramped, crowded spaces. And then when movies come around, you get to see the same thing, but at a much cheaper cost, and oftentimes with much more fantastical extent. Theater got some really creative usage of props and angles and lighting to create all these different effects, such as being out in space. But with a movie, I could edit what the audience sees. I can edit and actively change your perspective. I could make it look like the moon's talking on screen, whereas a play, that's going to be significantly harder and significantly more costly to not only create, but to attend. Whereas something like a movie, I might just be able to scratch out some of that film and make it, make that wall look like it's talking to you. Which was mind-blowing to the average viewer. After going to the play, let's say you go to two different forms of entertainment. One you go to watch a play, and one you go see a movie. They're both about, going to space and, seeing aliens. On stage, you'll have the actors jump out, and they'll be dressed in all these crazy costumes, and have this crazy paint, and they'll speak some alien language. And, it'll feel real, but it'll feel odd. It'll feel isolated in front of you. Like this incident's only happening on the stage right directly in front of you, and you won't feel as immersed. But, I toss my 15 cents to the ticket man, and I go inside and I watch a movie about alien invasion. Now, that's something really interesting, because it takes up the entire world, obviously. And, we get to see these fantastic creatures that are moving around and speaking that maybe even the same alien language as those actors. But yet I feel so much more immersed because it's taken up my entire vision. I'm not seeing anything but the screen. And eventually, I'll hear this when sound is produced in these movies. And that's gonna blow my mind as the viewer. Think about it. If you were to go and see a play on the Avengers, right, you'd be like, whoa, that's cool. But, you know, you go see a movie about the Avengers, and they're actually able to fly and everything. They have their superpowers. You know, you're like, oh my god, that's amazing, that's Iron Man, there's the Hulk. But with the play, you can kind of pick out those details, and you can't really ever get that same level of immersion. And you can have the appreciation, of course. I definitely do. I'm a theater kid. I am very much a theater nerd. I love it, but you'll never be able to get that same immersion that a film can give you. Film, you're able to edit out all the strings, all the green screen. Theater, you can't. You have to rely on tricks of the eye. You gotta fool the audience. It's like a gotcha. You thought it was Iron Man shooting his laser beams, but no, we just shot a blue light across the stage. Or you thought he disappeared in a puff of smoke, but we just used like a smoke bomb. Whereas, you know, the actor genuinely disappears into a cloud of smoke in a movie. That's something that's freaking crazy. Like, I don't even think we'll ever be able to comprehend the idea of these entertainment forms shifting and emerging in society. It's absolutely stunning to even, like, comprehend for a second. So as cinema began to become more and more popular with mainstream audiences, people started looking to things like theater, and they just didn't find them as entertaining anymore. You know, I see all these cool things, and I turn back to theater, and it's kind of like, yeah, well, it's cool and all, but like, what really are you providing me now at this point? I've seen cooler than this. But that's all we really have to talk about for today. And to kind of wrap things up, we're going to go to our kind of fun fact on this topic. And did you know that it's superstition that apparently whistling on stage brings you bad luck? And this kind of originates because in the 1600s, when sailors were kind of first working backstage because they were hired to work these jobs, they used whistling to communicate when you needed, you know, flying scenery and when you needed to change sets and stuff. And it was thought that if you whistled on stage, it'd be mistaken for a signal and would probably lead to some big prop piece coming out and most likely severely injuring you or killing you. And I guess on that interesting yet morbid side note, we're going to close out today's episode. So I've been Cody with Anything But Silent Cinema, and I'm wishing you all a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.